Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to round 5 of the Tegiwa BMW M8 GTE Championship here on iRacing. We're broadcasting on Evo SR TV. It's myself, James Salt, in the commentary box alongside Tom McMahon. Hello, Tom. Tom.
Hello, Mr. Salt.
There you are.
Hello. Yeah, I'm in. Yes, really looking forward to this one as the cars stream out into some open qualifying. It's the finale. We've got
just
two
joined
rounds.
the session, haven't we? 30 seconds gone.
Yes.
Like you said, final round. And a lot to play for. Shall we have a look at the, as we sort of kick off the out laps for a lot of the guys, as you said. Everyone piling out of the pits at the moment. So Jake Hewlett, 64 points from Lewis Bibby, 53, and then Rob Baker, Evo SR, 41 points. Pete Harrod as well, missed last week, but he's in this session, I believe. I think I saw him earlier in the practice sessions. Is that right? Can we confirm?
Yep. I saw him as well.
So a lot to play for. I know Connor Murphy isn't here today. He wanted to keep hold of that 5th spot. So, I mean, that's certainly under threat with Ben Sharp in 6th, Mark Guy as well. Could potentially take some away from him, although I think Ben's probably going to be the prime spot in that case. But yeah, a lot to play for, Tom. 2 races this evening, similar to last week. So a couple of sprint races, so effectively double the points on offer. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one.
It will be. So I was doing some maths earlier because I take my commentary duty seriously. So Jake Hewlett on 64 points out of a total that was on offer from the 5 races we've had so far of 75. So he's been super consistent. That's not to say that things can't go wrong now. It's just that I throw back to Bibby in the first race. He got that time penalty. Do you remember that dropped him to 7th from the podium places? Rob obviously determined to get back-to-back wins, but he's had his issues, hardware issues, amongst other things. So, I mean, the man on screen has just been super consistent. I mean, we had a cracking sprint race last week. Race 2 was what sim racing is all about.
I agree. Yeah, it was a superb race, wasn't it? That second race of the day. Hopefully, we'll get equal entertainment today across the 2 races. Snetterton as a track, in comparison to Alton Park. I mean, Snetterton very flat. A lot of technicality to it, some hairpins, good overtaking opportunities as well. That turn 1's a quick right-hander. Rich's, and then into Montreal, a hairpin that we're looking at Setzikowski now. Opportunity for overtaking, Tom. Turn 2, obviously the hairpin. And then we saw, I think, in another race that we commentated on, through turn 8 into Nelson turn 9, where you set the car up down that sort of back straight, the Bentley straight. It's a really good opportunity as well. Yes,
absolutely. That's where I'm dare I say it, yeah, very excited actually to see these cars, the GTEs, flying down the back straight into that left-right, and if you can go side by side, getting these fairly hefty units, as we see a spinner, car 18, off he goes. So I'm thinking the cars should be fairly well matched, fairly well suited to the track. It's a little bit wider, some longer straights to get the draft going. So yeah, I think we'll have some maybe not as tight racing that we had last week, but maybe a few more overtaking opportunities.
I think it's a bit less of a flow to Snetterton than there is Alton Park. I mean, it's a great race last week, but I'm sure we'll have the same here. So at the moment, we've got Jake Hewlett, surprise, surprise, on the top spot for the time being. I know we had Rob, didn't we, on pole for the second race last week, if I remember rightly. Pete Harrod, he's back. He's 2nd place, although quite a bit down, 1.2 seconds behind Jake Hewlett. The times are still coming in. We've got Rob Baker down in 7th for the time being, so he'll be wanting to improve. I think he's actually down in 9th now. Yes, he is. Lewis Bibby as well. Another of the sort of top contenders, not putting a lap together yet, currently running 22nd, 23rd now actually.
I think it's the nature of open qualifying. We saw that all the cars streaming out onto the track, and I think it's just jostling for space, trying to find room on the track. I mean, Jake Hewlett has got a lovely bit of track. If you look on the track map, there's no one around him, whereas everyone else is a little bit bunched up. So Mark Burton puts in a good lap into the 145s as well. So, and they've only got, if I got this right, only 4 minutes left. So it's you need to get your laps in, boys.
Yeah.
Because time is starting to run out. Bibby's finding himself a nice bit of track. Here's a bit more of a busy look, but Lewis Rose in 6th place.
Who's that pushing him round then?
Pushing him round is...
It wasn't Bibby, it was. Oh, so that is Lewis Rose. Sorry.
Lewis was pushing Dave Vincent round.
That's a really nice livery, the McLaren livery on that BMW.
Lewis has disappeared. Rob Baker has gone top.
Baker has gone top indeed. Certainly putting an early warning down, saying he is quick. Can Jake Hewlett improve? I have a feeling he may do. Bibby has gone pole.
That's 3/10 clear.
We were saying, you know, Bibby sort of last week wasn't necessarily fighting for the win. He had a solid pace on him. Got tangled up in that race too. Was running 3rd at the time, but yeah, Bibby's been knocking on the door. He's currently on P1. Hewlett down in 3rd. Pete Harrod as well. I mean, it's actually incredibly tight at the top. Ben Sharp a really good lap as well in 6th position.
Lap time from Mark Burton down to Gavin Ranson in 15th. Separated by not a lot. What is that? 7/10, I think it is. The thing I was also wondering, maybe you can share some insights. Obviously, Lewis Bibby, he's closer to the championship than Rob Baker. Could we see team orders? Could he be screaming at Baker to get out the way, give him the points?
Well, as good as we know these two, to be honest, I think they'll just race regardless of what's on offer, which is good for us to watch. I'm sure the championship is one thing, but a race win on the night is also another. So, yeah, I mean, Hewlett's gone pole again. Bibby now in 2nd with Rob in 3rd. And Mark Burton, yeah, in 4th place is a solid position for the time being in 4th. As Pete Harrod just improves to take a 4th from Mark Burton, now in 5th.
So he joins that. There's still a big gap between the top 3, and then it's 7/10 almost back to Pete Harrod. Lewis Bibby goes top again by 300. Let's Rob's next in line, I think. Oh no, that's an off track, so cancel that.
Big off track.
So let's have a look further down. We got 30 cars have set lap times. That's good to see. Dave Buki is up into P6. He's had a bit of a troublesome season, but that's showing a good turn of pace. Yep. The other man who we were talking about it last week, who has always had pretty good pace through all of the championship, Carl Swift, just needs to put the race together. So you start at the moment provisionally just starting outside the top 10. He's always been in and around the top 10, but just seems to errors creep in sort of maybe towards the back end of the races. So he just needs to sort that out, and he'll be well in with a good chance of a top 10 finish. Jake Hewlett powering towards the line. Does he improve?
Currently 2nd. Does he go pole? He doesn't. And he's still shy of that P1 position. And, I mean, will he get another opportunity, Tom?
Yes.
9 minutes to go.
Yes, he'll get to finish this lap.
So anyone finishing their laps now will have another opportunity. So Lewis Bibby, can he improve? Currently on P1, exiting the last corner. Out to Murray's, down to the start-finish. Currently a 144.433, and he does improve by another 10th, 144.270. I think, where was Rob Baker on track? We saw he had that mistake. Is there any movers further back? Rob's still in 3rd position.
So this
Traffic
is Rob's final lap.
Where is he on track? Just going into that centre. Turn 4, is it? I believe, yeah, turn 4, out of turn 4, coming up to his left-hand kink. Tom, do you want to do look at the camera shake? That's a new feature for iRacing. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, I quickly did. Who can we pick up who's just about to go over the line?
Car 23's just come out of... Not sure who that is. Shane Piggott currently in 23rd. We've got P7 as well, which I believe is Mark Burton, just starting a lap.
Yes, let's hop on board with Mark. He should. No, he's not beating the time. Oh, we'll do a lap on qualifying 2. Let's hop back to, because Lewis Bibby can finish this lap, and so can Jake, actually. So let's go on board. Jake's done a couple of green sectors. Does he improve? Does he take pole?
Still no improvement. Looks like Bibby's on a quick lap, although I think he's just abandoned that by the looks of it. Rob Baker is getting a good tow to the finish. Does he improve on 3rd position? He doesn't.
Oh,
but
he
improves. He improves. Yeah, he improves, but doesn't improve on position.
So
but
there are the gaps. Oh, Ben Sharp has bumped Pete Harrod down. Noticing that. Ben Sharp up to 4th, Pete Harrod down to 5th. And this is, again, it's the prime position that for the Evo boys, if they can orchestrate the start a little bit better than they did last week, because Rob dilly-dallied and got jumped by Jake at the start, they should get Evo 1-2 into turn 1, because obviously they can control when the start of the race happens. Who's still out on track? Roger and Vela has been to every... No, he's come in. Anthony Mott, are you still out? Yes! He's having a race, it seems, with Rob. So Jake definitely missed the... So just these guys out. I believe Tom Bingham... No, he would have crossed the line. So I believe that's the order. We'll wait for the cars to come in and then we can get the grid up.
Well, Tom... It was you and Marshall. We had a few, or a couple of Meraki Racing earlier on. Are they still in the championship? Was that you and Marshall? I think was one, and
yes.
I can't remember if Tom Bingham was also the other one, but I might be confused.
Tom Metherell.
Tom Metherell, that was it. Yeah.
No, they're not here tonight.
No. All right. So that is qualifying more or less over. We've got car 19 just finishing his lap, going out of the last corner. It's like there's car number 2 going around turn 1. So hopefully we're not going to be. There we go.
There we go.
we've been timed out. So there it is. Lewis Bibby takes pole position from Jake Hewlett in 2nd, with Rob Baker in 3rd position. Ben Sharp, a really strong qualifying from him, with Pete Harrod and Mark Guy in 5th and 6th, with Mark Burson. Martin Higginson takes 8th, and Dave Buckey, I think that's a championship best qualifying, and Carl Swift as well, 10th alongside him. Connor Sheldon, strong performance from him in 11th, with Charles Heath in 12th. Jack Grime in 13th, as again a good qualifying from him, with Roger and Vela 14th. Lewis Rose and Gavin Ranson are 15 and 16. Christopher Paul, Matthew Tidmarsh in 17th and 18th. Anthony Mott and Tom Bingham in 19th and 20th. 21st and 22nd is Daniel Reason and Liam Davis. Shane Piggott in 23rd. Luke Setzikowski in 24th. Oliver Sig in 25th. Stuart Lyons 26th, with Dave Vincent in 27th. And alongside him is Jim Forsyth. Luke Handley in 29th, with Kevin Straw in 30th. Adam Shepherd 31st, with Tim Darracott alongside him in 32nd, with Fraser Bradburn and Alex Richardson rounding out the 34 cars at Snetterton for what is the penultimate race. I guess it's the final round, but 2 races in the round, with Baker on 3rd position with his teammate directly in front of him, both on that inside line, so they should get a nice nice start to this race with and I think it's going to be Hewlett on the outside going into turn 1, so he's going to want to think about that. Tom, what are we predicting? Are we hoping for another fight for the top as we had at Alton Park? I'm sure we are.
The top 3 seems really evenly matched, so I'm expecting a good battle between them. Ben Sharp qualifying best of the rest, so looking forward to him having a good scrap with Pete Harrod. And then honestly, from 6th down, it's pick your races. It's going to be fantastic, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think if you look at the top three, it does seem like they've got the edge on the rest of the field, but it's going to be an intense fight from Ben Sharp down. Pete Harrod, I think, is, I mean, from what we've seen of him, in the championship, he's up there. But in a 5th position for the time being, I think he's going to want to try and get up there as best he can and improve in this race. Maybe have a better race too, but nonetheless, he's in a solid position anyway. But on board with Rob Baker, with his teammate in front of him, who is going to become the safety car any second now as we watch the safety car peel off. And it's going to be down to Bibby in front of Rob. And he's gone already, and Rob's got a good drive as well. Looks very close with Hewlett on the left of him. So it's Lewis Bibby clear from Rob Baker on the inside, going into turn 1 with Jake Hewlett on the outside. Behind him, Ben Sharp and Pete Harrod on the inside. So it's still Baker has taken second, so it's an Evo 1-2 going into the hairpin turn 2, Montreal. It's going to be late on the brakes. We've heard some contact further back. It's Bucky's got it slowed down. So far, so good. A little bit of contact, that's expected, but for the most part, the guy's through safely, Tom.
I mean, it's an unbelievably clean start from everything I've seen. I've seen no crashes come up on the incident tracker, so it's all looking rather good. Obviously, only a few gains of position. I think there's been a crash at the back. I think we've seen there's a big gap in between, but the top 15, top 16 are all fairly similar. And as predicted, Rob got the jump on Jake, as Bibby will have told him over the comms, we're going. And that's a strong position to be in. Obviously, Jake, if he's eyeing up the championship, he just needs to sit there. But really, as we said, this is more about gloves off. Let's have a good race, and let's see what the guys can do. Biggest mover straight away, Oliver Sig, up 9 spots from the start. So there was an incident somewhere towards the back, maybe going into turn 3.
We've seen some cars. Yeah, we've got a spinner as well. At the back.
That was Daniel Reason has had a crash, but no, very, very clean start at the top. We'll have a look back at the end of the race what happened at turn 1, but Bibby Lee's nearly a second gap, so Baker needs to pull his finger out to close that, because once he's out of the draft, he'll probably be looking more in his mirrors than he will in front. But end of lap 1.
So it's Lewis Bibby over the line, Rob Baker in second, Jake Hewlett in 3rd position. I'm just thinking as well, Tom, the more that Baker and Hewlett battle, if they do sort of get into that position, then it's going to gift more time to Lewis Bibby, who could get the win here. So Pete Harrod in 5th position. Ben Sharp having a great qualifying and turning that into a solid start of the race as well, in 4th position in front of him. And then further back, not that much further back, is Mark Burton, just behind Pete, that you can see in that screen in the middle of the M8.
Let's have a look. Carl Swift is pressurising Dave.
That's Bucky in front of him.
Yep.
Yeah, in 8th position. This is strong for both of these guys, and I think they're going to want to be finishing on a high. Like we've mentioned, they seem to have struggled with consistency. Still a long way to go in this one, but hopefully lessons learned through the last few races that we've had. Fingers crossed. So Swift in out. Commentator's curse. Swift's got on the power a little bit too early, and he spun, and I think that was, who was that he's
Jack
taken
Grime.
with him?
Jack Grime, who's been pummeled, and poor Jack, who's
He's crabbing indeed. That's a car that needs to retire. I would imagine Carl Swift is in a similar position. They both took a whack. I mean, that is a car driving sideways. Absolutely. You need to retire that one, Jack.
It's really unfair. He wants to get back to... Oh, my word. Oh, no. He wants to get back to use his fast repair.
Anyway, back on board, Lewis Bibby. Currently in P1. I know he's having a look at Daniel Reason in the pit. Jack Grimes also back to the pits as well, unsurprisingly. So Lewis Bibby from Rob Baker. A gap just under a second. Rob doing a good job. Further back, I think Rob's lost it on exit of turn 1. That's going to be his race over, is it? He's got it going again. And he's certainly taken a heavy whack. That's all but answered the potential of a win, and I would like to say, yeah, you're not going to get the win with that one, Rob. Not today. Not with that much of a whack on the front.
No. I mean, that's not even... It's not come up. I mean, I'm trying to get a replay of that.
It's a good job we actually saw it live then, if we didn't. It didn't have the... is this it? Going into turn 1. I presume he just got on a corner exit.
Here we go. Picks up a little bit of understeer and yeah, touches the grass. If he's not got steering damage...
I mean, that was into the metal barrier, which are usually pretty unforgiving on iRacing. I mean, if he can hold on to third, I think he's going to be pretty lucky with that one, to be honest. Certainly got considerable front end damage. I'm sure that'll affect his aero. Let's see what transpires anyway. Ben Sharp in 4th position. If he's seen Rob Baker have that crash in front of him, I'm sure that'll be a good incentive for him to keep going, keep pushing, and see if he can force another mistake. So Rob's effectively a weakened car at the moment. So it's Ben Sharp heading out the final corner. Murray's turn 12 onto the start-finish straight with Pete Harrod just behind him, hunting Rob Baker in 3rd. So both of these guys hunting the podium spot. I have to keep a look at the lap times of 48.2. Obviously, Rob had that incident that lap, but we'll keep a look at Rob's times over the course of the race.
The gap is coming down, and that's a 45.4. Considering Jake Hewlett did a 45.0, Lewis Bibby and Clear out front did a 44.8. So Ben Sharp showing a really good turn of pace towards the end of this season. Oh, he was up, sort of best of the rest at Alton as well. So yep. Really good performance there. Let's just check in. I think Connor Sheldon is putting car number 51, Dave Buki, under a bit of pressure.
Yeah, so Connor started in 11th, didn't he? So up 1 position in 10th. Solid so far for him. Better still for Bucky in 9th. Fingers crossed we can get that over the line in the points position as well. Ben Sharp in...
Gap coming down.
Sorry, Tom. Gap is coming down indeed. Less than a second now to Rob Baker in front of him. And they are still racing, him and Pete Harrod. We saw them earlier on at Marshall's hairpin. Sorry, Montreal. But actually, Ben, yeah, he's starting to pull a gap on Pete Harrod.
So there's just bringing up the set. So Rob lost 4/10 on this lap in sector 1 alone. Let's see if that gap comes further down. As we cross the line, I think Jake may have closed the gap 2/10 quicker than Bibby up. And so we've got the same lap time pretty much for Baker and Sharp, but definitely a loss of pace for Rob with that front end damage. Looking back through the field, where have we got some close action? Charles Heath down 10 spots. So he must have... I think we saw him actually on exit out of Williams onto the Bentley Straight. I think he lost it on lap 1. I think I saw him having a moment, so that's maybe explaining that. Carl Swift down in 26th after that incident that we saw him experience.
There's a good battle by the looks of it going on for 14th. A few of the cars just coming out of turn 2. Here we go.
This train. So
yeah, so we've got Liam with...
lost his bonnet.
He has indeed.
Bumper.
Who we got in that? We've got Lewis Rose. We've got Oliver Sig in there as well. Rodman Vella.
So looking ahead, we've got Mark Burton being hustled by Mark Guy. Battle of the Marks. And this was the, we never got to see it. This left-right that coming up to, which I think they're great. This is a little bit of a fiddly corner. That's a lot of curb. But in a GT,
okay though.
they'll have so much down. That's like, Mark is hustling this BMW. It's great to see. May need to dampen down the camera shake. That's the new feature.
I quite like it.
Maybe just tone it down slightly.
Yeah, so out of final corner, we've got a car going a bit slower in front, did I see? Or anyway, Pete Harrod pushing Ben Sharp round now. He's caught the back of Sharp as they head into turn 2. Very much a obvious overtaking opportunity. This one looks like Sharp locked up slightly. It'll affect his rotation of the car. ever so slightly, but Pete Harrod hanging in there in 5th position. It makes you wonder if Pete hadn't have sort of missed last week, where would it have been in the grand scheme of things. But at this point, you know, Lewis Bibby is going to close the gap on Jake Hewlett, but still Jake Hewlett's going to pick up some really strong points as well. So it'd be interesting to see what the championship looks like and what Jake effectively needs to do to win the championship.
Was joint with Jake going into Alton. It was just that one round that he missed.
Yeah.
Again, this is a cracking battle for the lower end of the top 10. So we've got Christopher Paul hunting down Connor Sheldon. Sheldon putting pressure on Buki. And then a little gap out to Martin Higginson, who's in a race of his own. And then we've got the Battle of the Marks, car 26 and 23. And for the first time in a while, Jake Hewlett has got that gap under a second at the front.
Yeah,
just
did you see
halfway.
that? Yeah, just over halfway. A second gap. Bibby holding his nerve for the time being. His teammates pretty much out of the contention for challenging for that top spot. Ben Sharp a couple of seconds behind him. As we watch Liam Davis. So we've got a spinner. It's Oliver Sig from 18th position. I think it was probably a little bit higher up than that at the time.
Just caught the grass on turning, and the rear came round. It's had a little bit of damage, but gives it a boot full of revs, and away we go.
Joins safely as well. Oliver Sig sets sail again as he heads out of turn 11. Start a new lap. Ben Sharp in 4th position, again doing a really good job, keeping Pete Harrod, that we know is quick, behind him. That's Tom Bingham, back marker, so he's given Baker a bit of breathing space from Sharp in 4th. So Baker's still holding on to that P3, which I think, considering Tom, is going to be a strong result if he can do that.
Oh, lucky. I cannot stress for viewers who haven't either raced on iRacing or have experienced any sort of sim racing, those metal barriers in iRacing are usually a write-off. If you hit them at an angle, which Rob did, it's usually bent steering arm, bent suspension, and game over.
I think he hit it so full on, so sort of clean in terms of straight. Do you know what I mean? Like, it didn't really have any way to bend the steering.
Lovely shot as we see Jake Hewlett again. He's closed the gap, and obviously, what we haven't said again, these are fixed setups, so he's not going to have a car set up for more straight line speed or better cornering. But you can see the draft is half a second quicker last time around, and that's now near striking distance. We'd kind of say anywhere between 3 to 2 tenths on iRacing is usually a lunge can happen, but we know Jake is a very, very fair and clean racer, so I doubt he will be sending it from sort of 3 tenths back, but it puts him very much in the rear view mirror of Lewis Bibby.
And it was a 44.8 last time round, so 4 tenths quicker than Bibby, so any mistakes for the top two. As we watch, just who are we watching? We've got Gavin Ranson and Jim Forsyth, so it's Jim behind Ranson.
Oh, we got Lewis Rose off the track, having a moment. He's managed to hold on. He was mowing the lawn, coming out of Palmer. And that has put Christopher Paul, has closed into within a second. Jake Hewlett is right on the back. And it's deja vu. It's a VRS Coanda Simsport chasing an Evo SR. Bibby slightly wide.
I wonder if the back marker of, was it Luke Handley, just came into play there.
Bibby lost a bit of performance coming out of Nelson and then through, and that was Kenny ever so slightly missed the apex. 410. Keep an eye on the gap top left, as that's going to start coming down now.
Ready to get turn 1 right, considering the toe that he's going to get turn 1 right, and then it's going to be prime striking distance for a challenge into turn 2. Still the gap is 3 tenths, just coming into Turn 2 now. So not this time, but Bibby doing a good job so far. Driving under pressure from Hewlett, championship leaders for the time being.
So we'll keep an eye on that gap, see if it differs down. We've got this battle still going on for P9, 10, 11, just about P12. Christopher Paul's a little bit off the pack, but he's definitely in. Oh, there's a slight lock-up, so easy to do. And we've still got Jim Forsyth hustling Gavin Ranson for P14. So we do have some good fights going on. We'll keep an eye. This is the closest battle on track, though. Head up to Blimp Cam as Connor Sheldon putting the pressure on.
Bucky's doing a great job. He's been under pressure for the whole race. We've got a car on the. That's Kev Rose getting Kev Straw, sorry, getting well out of the way as we watch Connor Sheldon have a bit of contact with Lewis Rose behind him, and then Christopher Paul's now in shot in the DeWalt.
Oh,
liveried.
Mark Guy is going around the outside.
It can be done. It's a big car to do it in.
Oh, great move! Great move. Let's see if I can. I'll try and find a replay of that, and we are going to get it. Slides it around the outside. Great car control. High ground for the inside. Great move. Best move of the day so far.
Indeed. I think it takes two good drivers to pull that one off. You know, you've got to recognise that where that other car's going to be. Yeah, good racing from these two. So Mark Guy now in 6th position. Coming up to the back of.
So Pete Harrod has lost a fair bit of time.
Yeah.
He did a 47.4, which has let Ben Sharp escape. Have we got in the way here? Oh, no.
We've got Handley. Handley's the car. I believe that's the back marker. Who's now at the back of this train.
And Mark's his great work has been undone because Burton has got back past. Here he is. So he's tried to go around the outside. Luke's outbroke himself, and opportunistic Mark Burton nipped the place back again.
Well, there's still time. We know that Mark's done it. That Mark's done it once. The Mark Guy, that is. So let's see what's in store for the final bit of this race. We've got 17 minutes coming up. 3 minutes left. Bibby and Hewlett are still battling at the front. Less than a second for them. Ben Sharp's only 1.3 behind Rob. Mark Guy that we're watching pushing Mark Burton around the track. This is where we saw Guy the last time around. Hung it around the outside. The Brundle corner, not this time. As I go into turn 9, Nelson's this right-hand kink, clip a bit of curb. Both driving really well, Tom. Both driving well.
Consistent, no real mistakes. That, as you said, two willing parties that were able to facilitate that great bit of racing. We've still got that battle for P9 raging, hotly contested. Obviously, you do get more points for 9th and 10th than you do 11th down. So it's the guys want it. You've got different lines going through the penultimate corner. That's a slight bit of contact that's going to put Sheldon out of position, and that's going to put Lewis Rose all over the back of him. Sheldon's going to have the draft from P9. Oh, you're going to look for the inside.
He got a much better exit, didn't he?
I mean, this is where it's almost pass or be pass.
I think we're going to see a move here as we see.
Down the inside.
He has indeed. He's going to get it stopped. Just clips a little bit of grass, but he does get it stopped. That's side contact. So it's Sheldon now on the inside going into turn 3, Palmer. And that's allowed. Who's that? That's sort of nipped up into. That's Christopher Paul, isn't it? That we're looking at. We're Lewis Rose now in 12th. Connor Sheldon, a bit of a scruffy turn 4 by the looks of it. Heading into turn 5 now, Hamilton. Sheldon's through, Christopher Paul's through. Lewis Rose has got a lot of speed coming out of there as he's now the inside. He's going to run himself wide, so it's now Christopher Paul got a good drive out of there. Get this one right, and then you're onto the long Bentley straight where we saw Mark Guy make a great pass on Mark Burton.
Move that was.
It's a very confident move.
Just takes the speed, and it's almost caught him a little bit unawares. Kept it out of the grass. Job done. Brilliant stuff. Oh no! Buki's off the track.
It looks like he's had contact. Doesn't look like his steering's too bad. What's happened there then? Is it a back marker or because he dropped it on his own?
He dropped himself.
He just hit the barrier. We've only about a minute to go when he did that. So that's dropped him from 9th down to 13th. Right, Lewis Bibby, P1. He's been P1 from the start. Jake Hewlett, less than a second behind. To be honest, I think at this point, we're on the final lap. I can't see much changing. I think Jake's done enough. Given the advantage he's got in the points in the championship, I think this is just generally what he needs.
So I think it would be an 8-point gap going into the final round, so we really need a DNF or a penalty, maybe one like Bibby got at Donington way back. So because obviously there are still the off-track limits, but these guys think if my timings are correct. And Mark Burton has spun.
Burton, and so is what's happened at the front. Bibby were just traded places. Did Bibby and Hewlett temporarily on the timing board?
So what happened there? There's going to be a slight bit of contact that was never really on, and now it might be giving the place back.
So the gap now for the leaders 4 seconds. So something happened with Bibby and Hewlett just when we were looking at that replay. I saw the top left. Well done, Lewis Bibby takes the win. But there was something we didn't see there. Oh. So
that's
he actually got So he got a huge slowdown, and that's why I saw temporarily. Jake Hewlett took P1. Very very temporary, but yeah. It's P2 nonetheless. Ben Sharp less than half a second behind Rob Baker in third. But fair play to Rob. He kept third despite that huge contact with the barrier. And a really good race from both Ben Sharp, Pete Harrod. Mark Guy as well takes 6th position. Lewis Rose grabs some points, takes 9th. And it's Sheldon takes P10, the last of the considerable points on offer. Bucky was running 9th, brings it home in 12th. Managed to get 1 position back, I think, at the end there. Carl Swift was up there for a long time.
Yeah, just that consistency that that we were talking about. It's just guys just try if they can just string the laps together, because it was nearly there for Dave. He was 19 minutes. He'd done the hard work, as we see Carl coming through the final corner. Done everything, and then just one maybe lapse of concentration. Got a slight swapper on, hit the barrier. Still got home in 12th. Carl sends his car into the wall. And we'll just wait for the other cars to bring themselves. Oh, Luke's had an eventful race, that looks like.
I think we've seen Luke's car look like that more often than with the actual bumper, unfortunately.
Very true. I think the results are in, I believe. Yes.
They are indeed. Lewis Bibby takes P1, the win from Jake Hewlett and Rob Baker. So it's an Evo SR Evo SR 1 and 3 with Jake Hewlett, VRS Coanda Sim Sport in 2nd. Ben Sharp takes 4th position from Pete Harrod in 5th. Mark Guy in 6th. Martin Higginson and Mark Burton take 7 and 8, with Lewis Rose and Connor Sheldon picking up the last of the championship points. Everyone else does get points. It's 2 points for everyone effectively, but the real points sort of come in the top 10. So good job for those top 10 guys. Eventful race, Tom. I think it certainly had some good racing. I think the move of the day so far was certainly Mark Guide around the outside on Mark Burton into turn 8 and then turn 9.
Absolutely. Just going back here, if I can find it. So there was an incident. Let's go to our blimp cams. This is on board or watching Dave Vincent. Just trying to see if we can see what happens here. Oh, we got a car over to the left is about to go off. Oh, and it's that's Gavin Ranson getting sort of turned round. Dave's lost it on his own, and it's.
And so is that Luke Handley, I think, in the Marlborough.
Yeah, we've got synchronized spinning. Anthony Mott has tagged round. Oh, it's just going to be a bit of carnage, really. Is that Lewis Rose in?
That's Lewis Rose in the McLaren.
Yeah, in the McLaren, picking his way through.
Yeah,
it's a lot of cars off. So there was sort of the explanation as to what happened to a lot of the guys and how Lewis Rose made 6 places. Tim Darracott again has made 17 places up. So, and let's go back through. We'll try and find any other of the highlights. So we saw there was the commentator's curse. This is Carl Swift that we're on board with now.
It's like a big chunk of apex.
Yeah, and he's now going to light the rear tyres up. There he's going.
It's already gone. It's already gone from him. It's just too much. It's just the line was just too tight, wasn't it? Taking that extra bit of...
Yeah, too tight. And then he's going to sadly spin across the track. Where's he gone?
That was booking.
Oh, there it goes.
We've got Jack Grime who was involved in that, unfortunately.
And so...
And it was Jack Grime, wasn't it, with that car which was just crabbing. Like, you don't get much worse than that, to be honest.
And then let's have a look. Then we've got... Oh, this was Rob. And he'll hate us for doing this. But it was a key moment because it obviously gave Jake P2 as opposed to P3, which could make a difference in the championship. So we're heading down to turn 1. And just keep an eye out. He's going to pick up a little bit of mid-corner understeer. Maybe gets on the power slightly too early. And it's almost like a double apex that you want to take for turn 1. You can see he's just a little bit wide. He's now already on the power. He'll be full throttle, cannot, and try and just hold it, basically. And he's going to just go slightly wide. And there, left rear, into the dirt. I mean, how he's got away with that, because...
He did actually at an angle
yeah,
as well.
Yeah.
So,
and just pirouette, on he goes.
He probably only lost about 5 seconds total through all of that.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Then I'm trying to go through it. It's going to be tough for me to find this. But it might be this. Oh, so we're back a little bit. This is how Luke Handley, the backmarker, with a huge lockup.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
But we're just going to cycle back. I'm conscious that we don't run into the other race starting. Which it shouldn't do, because there should be a little bit of time. What we'll do... Flick through... Because it was such a good move that I want to showcase it to everyone. But I can't find it, sadly.
Well, let's load into the other session. We'll go for a short break on the stream, but we will be back once the other race is ready to go, or the qualifying of the other race. So, as I said, we'll be back shortly. Until then, stick around, go put the kettle on, and see you soon. And we're back. Magic. Right. Qualifying for race 2, Tom. We've had race 1. Bit of a sighter race.
Oh.
As we see, Rob Baker not having the best start to qualifying. Back to the pits. We did see, didn't we, quite a few of the guys piling out of the pits, as we saw at the start of race 1. Where is everyone on track? We don't really find out, do we, until they start sort of their flying laps.
Yeah, once they've set a lap time, then they'll appear on the track map. So I thought it'd be just before I go on to going on a hot lap. 8 points is the gap between Lewis Bibby and Jake Hewlett, the championship leader. So it is only Bibby can challenge. 8 points, so you get 15 for a win, 12 for second, 10 for third, and then 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. So Bibby needs a little bit of help from some of the other drivers if he's need to win the race, basically, to stand a chance at winning the championship. But I'm sure, like myself and all the viewers at home, he will just be wanting a fantastic race.
Well, he's already taken a victory in race 1, so he's doing everything that he can possibly do. I think the other stuff is really up to sort of Jake Hewlett and the other drivers and what comes of that, really. We saw Rob Baker lost it at turn 1 in the last race, so Baker couldn't do anything to affect the outcome for Jake Hewlett. Still went on to finish second. As we see Bibby having some contact with Bucky. I think whether Bucky was just going back on track, I don't know. Does a qualifying lap still count if you have contact with another car? Never really know, because it doesn't. Okay.
No, if you get any sort of X, then you get then it's invalidated. And
got it.
Here we go for a flying lap on board with Lewis Bibby down into turn 1. Holds it in 4th, does he? Tyres might not be quite up to temperature. There's a car facing backwards down into Montreal. We'll maybe take first gear here. Yes, we will. Make sure we don't lock a brake. And smoothly on power. Heading down to Palmer. This left-hander that always seems to catch me out. Always goes on for a little bit longer than you think. Steady on power. Careful not to get the off track on the right-hand side. That's close, but hopefully he'll stay with it. Into the hairpin of Agostini. Turn down, take first. There's a couple of different lines, but it's onto the power nice and early. Head towards Hamilton, this left-hander, where we saw Lewis Rose get a fantastic drive out of it in race 1. Down into turn 6. Smoothly does it. Careful on power that you don't then start spinning the wheels up. Through Williams at turn 7. Smooth on power again. Try and get a really good exit onto the Bentley straight. And a little bit of time to breathe. And you're going to try and set yourself up for Brundle and Nelson. So head over to the right-hand side of the track. Probably keep it in 5th gear. We're not going to quite hit stick. Flick it down. 4th, 3rd. Down into 2nd. Bit of a clumsy corner. Through the bombshell at turn 10. Little lift. A little bit of opposite lock as well. Then we're going to go through turn 13. I just hoping Bibby's getting hugely blocked here. Through Murray's final corner. So a little bit of traffic towards the end of the lap. There was a fairly solid lap. Let's see where that puts him. And it is a 1 minute 44.9. So he goes provisionally up to P1. So
Well,
time to
looking now, Tom, much more open track in front of him for the time being anyway. We've got Jack Graham 8 seconds, 7 seconds up the road. So maybe this one for Bibby is going to be an improvement. And with Pete Harrod in second at this point, haven't had Baker or Hewlett set a lap time yet by the looks of it.
No, there's still no lap time set yet. Obviously, the tyres will be starting to come up to temperature. I think off the top of my head, it was a 44.2 was the whole time from the last race. So that's the ballpark. I believe it's same track and weather conditions. Just checking in, track temp of 21 degrees and 19 degrees.
Relatively cool, Tom, for iRacing. Sorry.
Well, it's 7:46 in the morning, so Luke said to Kelsey, he's got the drivers up early. Track briefing done. Let's get on with it, boys. So we'll stay on board with Boo as the times keep coming in because this has seemed a really clean lap. So if it all goes well, we should see an improvement. Pete Harrod gets in a 44.5.
That's better from him.
So 0.3 over to Bibby. What can you do as he comes towards the end of the lap? Anthony Mott moves up to P6 with a nice lap. Into 45s he goes. Slowing it down through the final turn. No traffic this time. Don't think that was an off-track. Pete Harrod's just off-tracked his lap, so I think he may only get one more, maybe 2 attempts. Bibby over the line. What does he do? 44.1. Great lap time.
Very clean. Still no one in front of him either. Still got Setsikowski just in the hairpin, or exited the hairpin now. Whereas Jake Hewlett, where is he on track? We know he's got someone, Liam Davies, in front of him, and then we've got a 14-second gap, a 12-second gap to Burton further ahead. Although that's changing drastically. Burton's slowed down. They're 3 abreast going into, well, just at the end of the long straight into Brundle, into turn 9 now. Still Davies must be on a quick lap, but Jake's doing everything he can to get in front. Certainly on this next lap, he's going to want clean air to get a lap together. Because at the moment, this is not what he needs, but for the championship, it is.
Yeah, absolutely. You're dead right. I mean, he's going to get 2 more laps because he's going to cross the line. I mean, if he keeps following Liam round, and he needs to get... Oh, there we go. Oh, and Liam's lifted, dearie.
Yes, yeah.
So, I mean, that's going to compromise Jake massively at the start of this lap, but he does have clear track now.
He'll get round as well, won't he, for another, even after this one. I think he'll still have the time. On track with I mean, that is a pretty big gap now in front of him to Heath.
Bibby still found himself with acres of space. He set a purple sector 2. Could he be the first man into the 43s? We didn't see it last race. He's straight line. No, he's drifting back over, so he does want to go for the next lap as well. He'll get 2 more, I believe. No improvement, so he must have an off track. So the lap didn't count. That's a monster off track. Let's hop back to Jake Hewlett.
Hewlett in 7th for the time being. Still a good lap, but 8th for now, yeah. Still a good lap, but not where he's used to being. Baker in 3rd position. Pete Harrod's found some pace as well this time.
And Sharp
less is the gap
down
to
the
Bibby.
order. I mean, he'll probably displace after that, but obviously he qualified 4th last time round.
This could be him improving, though. Doesn't look like he's got anyone in front of him. Could have been a clean lap. Let's have a look. It was indeed. Takes him 4th for the time being.
Bang. Here comes championship leader. Obviously, he was compromised into turn 1. He'll finish this lap and he'll get 1 more. What can he do? He's set a purple sector 2.
He's staying left, maximising, getting everything out of the lap that he can, but he's only 4th. That's interesting. That was compromised lap, though, wasn't it, going on to the start of the lap? So
Pete Harrod just closed in, still nearly 4 tenths away. That's a cracking lap from Bibby. Really seemed to hook it up. He had that clear air. Bibby's still on track. Yes, he is. He's going to get another lap in. Rob will be very close to getting another lap. I don't think he'll make... he's very close.
Yep. Going to be very close.
I think he will make it. 25 seconds. And I did see, I think he off-tracked this lap, so he's desperate to get one. Bibby's made the line. Rob will make the line. Let's have another look down through the pack. Carl Swift down in 15th. He did qualify a little bit higher last time round. Yep, so Rob's made it. Who else have we got?
Oliver Six just got over the line by the looks of it. Time is up now.
Shows Shane Piggott doesn't make it. So everyone now who's out on track, these are their final lap. And I'm quite intrigued to see. Here comes Jake. Ben Sharp's off. Mark Guy, they're done. Martin Higginson, great performance in 6th. Dave Bucky moves up to P9. Brilliant work from him. That P9 that got away from him last race. Hopefully you can make it count for this one. Bibby is off track. As you can see, top left, it's gone red, so he's done.
Well, here we go, Tom. Will Hewlett improve on P4? Will he take P1 in the final race? Keeping left. Can he do it? It's crossed the line. He's gone second. So it's Bibby with another pole position.
And
race
Rob
2.
has set up. Rob set up a green sector 1, so his best lap. Heading down to turn 8 and 9. See what he can do. Fling it through. Carry as much speed as you can. Rear dancing around. Can he get up to P3? That's. I mean, obviously his goal will be pole, but if he can get to P3, then they can orchestrate the start again.
It's Pete Harrod standing in the way for the time being, who is in the pits. And we're not going to see anything from him. Rob Baker, one of the last cars out there. Jack Grime a little bit further behind him. But anyway, it's Baker heading to the start-finish. Currently P4. Does he improve? He does indeed.
Oh, yes, he
Evo
does.
SR 1-2. Jake Hewlett down in third position. Pete Harrod alongside him this time around.
With a purple sector 3, pulling it out of the bag. He was 1.5 tenths down on Bibby and Jake through sector 2, but then a monster sector 3. We saw him dancing the car through turns 8 and 9, and he just carried speed and gets it onto the front row. Brilliant stuff.
Brilliant stuff indeed. Just thinking as well, Pete Harrod managed to get in front of Ben Sharp. Last time around, it was Ben Sharp that finished in front of Pete Harrod. So those two we know have very equal pace. So that's going to be good to watch. We've got car number 3 still out there, just about to cross the finish. So we shouldn't be too long before we are gridding up effectively. Jake Hewlett getting everything out of this session. I don't think Jake's going to have any more time out there, is he?
No, we're there we go. We are ready to grid up.
We are gridding up indeed. So it's an Evo SR 1-2 with Lewis Bibby on pole with Rob Baker alongside him. Jake Hewlett of VRS Coanda Sim Sports in third position with Pete Harrod of Pure Sim Esports in fourth. Fifth position is Ben Sharp with sixth Martin Higginson. Mark Guy takes 7th from Lewis Rose in 8th position. Dave Buckey 9th with Tim Darracott in 10th. Charles Heath takes 11th with Anthony Mott in 12th position. Connor Sheldon 13th with Carl Swift 14th. Jack Grime is 15th. 16th is Shane Piggott. 17th Daniel Reason. Tom Bingham in 18th position with Mark Burton in 19th. And Matthew Tidmarsh takes the 20th spot. Rodran Vella in 21st with Liam Davies in 22nd. Gavin Ranson takes 23rd with Christopher Paul in 24th. Oliver Sig in 25th with Luke Sedzakowski in 6th position. 27th and 28th is Alex Richardson and Stuart Lines with Dave Vincent and Jim Forsyth in 29th and 30th. Luke Hanley and Kev Straw are the last guys on the grid on the back row. Right, Tom. Is this the first time we've seen an Evo SR 1-2 on the qualifying lap? In qualifying, I can't remember.
It's really something we should know, but I can't remember.
I don't think we have.
It doesn't. I feel like we would have made a huge deal of it, so I don't believe so.
I don't think we have, but I'm just trying to. Yeah, we haven't. It's going to be interesting what happens here, because if we see Hewlett do what Rob did in that last race, then Rob's going to be third by the by turn 2.
Saying we've got cars crashing. Just chill out, guys. Look, you're not going. What is going on?
Round 5. Anyway, let's get back to the front. Right, we're watching Lewis Bibby, who's already bolted, and Rob's already covering Jake Hewlett off. I was going to say we're going to get contact, but we haven't. Rob's just giving space. So again, it's Bibby just pulling a bit of a gap, but this time around, Baker in second, and Hewlett's now at the inside, as we also see Ben Sharp coming into the frame is there, and again, Baker under pressure now, covering the inside line, but Baker's gone deep, and he's on the inside, so it's now Hewlett on the inside going into turn 3, the Palmer corner, and he gets in front just before that, so it's Baker in third, was second, Hewlett's up 1, Lewis Bibby getting up to about a second, just over half a second at the moment, but Hewlett's hunting him down. We've got Dave Bucky spinning and spinning and spinning. And that's not the start that he wanted. And we've got big contact further ahead. We've got few cars off the track there. That's Daniel Reason.
I think I also saw, Ben Sharp's up. Who was up in 5th. He's dropped way down to 15th. I mean, it's carnage. It's still carnage. Martin Higginson's off from 6th position. Jack Grimes falling down the track. Or down the order. Carnage. Carnage through Palmer. And we've still got cars flying off the road. We'll have a look at that. But back to the top 4.
Pete Harrod's joined the party this time around. He's found some pace in race 1 and is very much there pushing Baker. And Baker again just a little bit wide on exit, putting that rear left on the dirt there. Anyway, it's Lewis Bibby saying second, but he's actually P1. That should sort itself out as they go over the start-finish line. Lewis Bibby from Jake Hewlett, from Rob Baker, from Pete Harrod. Those are the top 4. Further back, we've got Daniel Reason. He's actually in the pit, sorry. It's Anthony Mott in 5th. Charles Heath in 6th. Connor Sheldon, a strong position for the time being, in 7th.
Anthony Mott up 7 places.
There was a lot of carnage in that one at the start, but on the track map, it does look like the guys have sort of sorted them out. Not too big a gaps out there. A long way to go in this one. 18 minutes, 2 minutes gone. Back towards the front. We've got Pete Harrod. Baker's just dropping back off the back of Hewlett. Doesn't seem to have the pace of those front two this week, Tom.
I think it potentially also cold tyres, so he's still getting them up to temperature, and it's a definite thing now on the newer builds of iRacing that the tyres do take their time to get up to temperature, and it might just be something that Rob's trying to deal with, and then maybe once they're up and he's happy with it, he'll pick his pace back up. But definitely,
yeah, I mean, he's certainly got the pace. We obviously, he qualified in second. I'm just seeing here, He's got a fantastic drive off there into the Bentley Straight. I don't think we're going to see a lunge so far. I mean, there's a lot riding on this for Jake. He just needs to effectively finish, and having Bibby in front of him, if Jake doesn't finish, I guess that's pretty much gifting the if it was to be the Lewis Bibby victory, then yeah, it would gift Bibby the overall championship. But so far, Jake Hewlett is in there. Tidmarsh has put it in reverse, and it's still in reverse. Where's he going?
I don't know. I don't know. Sorry, we'll go. I think
he's probably ripped the VR off his head and just said, "Oh, to hell with it." Jake Hewlett, a much quicker lap, half a second quicker than Bibby that time around.
I mean, they were all quicker than Bibby. So unless Bibby has decided, I'm going to try and back Jake up into the pack behind, because he was the slowest one that time around. He was a 45.5. Jake Hewlett 45.0, Baker 45.1, Pete Harrod 45.3. So I don't think that would be the strategy. So I imagine it was just an accident, a mistake.
Well, it could be. The only way Bibby's going to win the championship is to affect Jake Hewlett's race. That's simply it, isn't it? And from his perspective, if he wants to back Hewlett up into Baker, then I guess that's fine. We'll see.
Keep an eye on this man, Ben Sharp. So he started 5th, dropped down. We saw him off the track going into turn 5. Turn 4. Agostini
had a bit of contact on the front, but not enough to have any particular performance damage. I don't think.
That was going into turn 2. He tagged Rob. That's why Rob went deep, and it looked like he was having a little move against Jake. He wasn't. He got a slight tap. Oh, as we got a car off. That's Tim Darracott mowing the lawn out on the exit of turn 9. Baker got a little tap from Ben, which sent him down the inside. So good avoidance from Jake. So actually, I think if we went back and had a replay, he would turn out of the corner.
Get that for a lap time.
Yeah, 43.8. He found that.
He did something on that lap that he's not done before to find 3/10 on his qualifying time in race conditions.
under pressure. That
Yeah.
is-
And,
wow.
and extended the gap on Jake Hewlett
That
at
is-
6,300 I rating. So that's an absolutely stellar lap. Whatever Lewis Bibby did then, he needs to keep doing that. And the win, or the back-to-back wins, is going to be his. Still,
so we're
though...
basically saying...
Go on.
So we're basically saying Lewis Bibby is a 6,000 I rated driver.
I think he's underrated at nearly 4,000, yeah. I think we don't need to.
That's the conclusion that we're drawing from that.
He's underrated. But yeah, regardless of the back-to-back wins, if that does happen, it's going to be Jake Hewlett's. Jake's doing everything that he needs to do. Consistency and quick.
He's nearly done a Baker. He's stuck his tyre on the outside of onto the grass. He's got away with it.
He's got away. That's all right. He can pull that time back. He's certainly having fun out there. At least he didn't hit the barrier.
Yeah, chaotic start to the race. As you see, track map, it's just everyone's kind of spread out. Aren't so many orange numbers appearing. Connor Sheldon's had an off. Oh, and he's way off.
Where is he?
That's
he's just in turn 9, is he?
Yeah.
Right in the nook of turn 9.
Here he goes, and it's just too much speed. Too much speed.
He did look quick going into there, didn't he?
Big off, and I think he's still... No, he's back on track. Back down to 16th, so...
Having a look down the inside, is that Tom Bingham, or... I can't remember who that was, the black BMW. Lewis Bibby from Jake Hewlett. The gap at 1.1.
Yeah, he's doing a cracking job, and I don't think Jake's got an answer for this at the moment. We'll see how in the sort of the latter stage of the race. That is when Jake made his move last time. He closed the gap from about 1.5 down to under half a second at points. So we know Jake's got pace to burn. Maybe he's just getting himself settled into the race and then going to make a charge. Who knows? What's this going on? We've got the 2 marks again.
I was going to say, is that the 2 marks?
That's it. That was the one thing. As you were reading the grid out, I didn't interrupt.
Did I say it wrong?
No. Mark Burton, he qualified 19th. And I felt that was out of position. He's up 13 spots. But Mark Guy was the quicker of the marks last race. And it's deja vu as they head down into turn 8 and 9. So we'll keep an eye on
Mark Squared. Keep an eye on Mark Squared. And, yeah.
Darracott is charging in towards Stuart Lyons, who is up 18 places. Fantastic from Stuart. And we've got Carl Swift up 2 places, hunting them down. Off Stuart goes. I've cursed him completely. Carl's going to take that position. Bibby again, 2/10 quicker. Pete Harrod, 7/10 away from Baker.
5/10 must be, just heading into turn 2.
Oh, and these 2 are close.
Mark, is there any damage on Mark Burton's car? I just want to know if I saw anything on the front. No, looking good. So somehow managed to get up 13 positions without having any contact.
And behind them, who lapped half a second quicker, is Ben Sharp. So this could turn into a really juicy 3-way scrap for P6. Looking ahead, and they actually lapped quicker than Anthony Mott last time round. And they're only 3 seconds off the back of Anthony. You can see him up ahead. So definitely a potential scrap for P5 brewing. Obviously, the top 4 have made a complete breakaway. They're 12 seconds clear of P5.
Pete Harrod only 3/10 behind Baker now. That's the closest that they've been. Looks like Baker must have got a bad drive onto the Bentley straight. As we see Harrod just sort of going around the last couple of corners.
The marks have swapped. And I can tell you that on the driver messaging system, Mark Burton said pass left. So unless he feels that Mark Guy's quicker and he can just kind of be dragged along.
Well, they've got Ben Sharp, haven't they, chasing them down? About half a second behind Burton now, he's sharp.
Tom. Oh, we got a car off. Tom Bingham being shoved off. I think Jack Grime. Is he going to go round the outside? Yes, he is. Round the outside he goes. And, well, he was always there, Tom,
He was
sadly.
always there, yeah.
You kind of just, sadly, turned in and there was a car there. So, no shoving from Jack. That was just a nice move. Good overtaking manoeuvre.
Indeed, Jack Grime, 14th position. He's up one spot for the time being, having a good race and a good pass. Or did everything right from his side in that pass. Mark Guy in 6th position. Managed to get past Mark Burton. And then we've got Ben Sharp. Look at this now, the front two. Something's happened to Bibby on that last lap. I'll just have a look at the last lap. It was about, yeah, I mean, Hewlett was about 3-4 times quicker. This is very close. Into turn 8. Now turn 9. I mean, this is going to be interesting going over the start-finish. If Hewlett can stay there and finish this lap off, potentially could have a look into turn 2. Bibby doing a good job through there. These camera angles are nice.
Whooping camera angles. It's just if he can stay close enough, but the gap always seems, whenever you follow a car, it does just seem to stretch out. Pete Harrod is very close to Rob.
It's the Evo SR guys that are under pressure. Has Rob got some minor contact on the back? That was what you were saying, where, who was it that went into the back of him? That was it Ben Sharp? As Harrod on the outside, looking for the cut back on a corner that might not really give you that, but is Baker going to go defensive? He isn't, doesn't need to that time round, but Harrod's still very much there. And at the front, it's still 4 tenths.
And we've got just seeing Carl Swift has got past Tim Darracott, who's actually falling down the order. Oh, where's Tim gone?
That's just towards the last, just after the last corner. Yep.
Oh, just again dropping a wheel onto the dirt on the outside and spinning down.
You can run wide there, can't you? But not that wide. Pete Harrod, yeah. Turn. Where are they on track now? I can't.
About to head onto the Bentley Straight.
Yes. There we go. There's that straight. So Harrod, I mean, we know you can make a move into turn 8. We've seen it done. 2 tenths is the gap. Probably won't be close enough by the time they get there. But Baker's doing a good job so far, coping under pressure. I don't want to jinx it. So let's move on. But both of the Evo guys, Evo SR guys, are under pressure. Both drivers behind Jake Hewlett and Pete Harrod, pressuring Rob Baker and Lewis Bibby. Although, does it look like we've had Baker and Harrod have some contact? Where's Harrod gone?
This is Lewis Rose, because Pete Harrod's gone off the track.
Is this because of Lewis Rose? Has Harrod gone through?
Don't know then.
So let's have a look back on board with. Oh. So that's before the end of the lap.
Here we go. Oh my
dear.
word!
Who is that? Who was that? I mean, that's.
It was not Rodron.
Rodron was just drifting onto the racing line there. Not sure whether he got out of... Oh, so he had the contact with Lewis Rose. That explains why Rose was off the track. Rodron goes left to get on earlier, but in doing so, just drifts onto the racing line.
Oh.
As Rob goes through, and Rob just survived, didn't he? He was millimetres from the grass. In all of that, we saw Pete Harrod had to take evasive action, and yeah, he was out on the grass. Still, the leaders, Jake Hewlett in 2nd, Lewis Bibby in 1st position. We've seen this before, deja vu. Race 1 was very much like this.
Oh, and just, sorry to cut back, we'll see, keep an eye on the gap. Ben Sharp's had an off at the chicane. Oh, that'll be some floor damage, because I've seen he's dropped away from the pack. Carl Swift is up, and that gap that I was talking about for P5, Anthony Mott here, he is getting caught by Mark Squared. both of them are closing in, so we'll keep an eye out for that. But obviously, the closest gaps that we've got are these two, and Ben Sharp just behind Carl Swift for P10, which actually is coming down, and Ben Sharp is through. No,
wow. What's happened there? That was Carl Swift, wasn't it?
Yes, going. Oh, he got a swapper on, and Carl showing good race awareness because he saw Ben out of control and saved himself. I mean, it's all going off now. Seems like
4 minutes to go, just under 4 minutes to go.
Has that gone? Where has that time gone? Just looking down, Martin Higginson he's had an eventful race. He's down 14 positions.
And that's Bucky in front of him as well.
And that's no bonnet, pretty much no bumper, I should say. No, oh dear.
As Bucky's struggling to get that back on the track, he does so. Into turn 11 now. This never-ending right-hand bend, and then you've got to size it up for the last corner. Murray's turn 12. As we see Bucky doing what was it?
Exit stage left.
Indeed, it was.
Let's have a look. It's out onto the grass and around she go. Manages to save it, but a little bit of lawn mowing and back onto the track. And all the gaps have really opened up, except
Bucky's having another spin at turn 1. We just saw. He's struggling with that. I wonder if he's got some damage.
Look, his car had been in the wars, but yeah, the only gap really, you've got Tom Bingham behind Tim Darragh at 8/10, and then Lewis Bibby's lapped a 10th quicker. I mean, he's
another thing we've not had in this because of the longer track is back markers. I know we've had a couple, but not to the extreme that we saw in the sort of other races that we've had, especially Silverstone International. I think that was one where it was really mixed up on track.
Yes, and Donington.
And even in Donington, obviously, yeah.
The big one as well. No, it's definitely broken the field up.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the track map
as well.
Yeah, the track map says quite a lot as well. There is, I mean, it looks like there's a good battle going up for, is it 12 and 13 is relatively close, but yeah, the closest at the time being is Anthony Mott, Mark Guy. Looks like Mark Burton's dropped a little bit further back. Whether he had a mistake is just there in the shot. So Mark Guy now pressuring Anthony Mott.
A second quicker last time round was Mark Guy. So let's see what he can do. We'll hop on board, see where he is quicker. Well, there's an apex that isn't worrying.
Oh dear.
Word. Well, now he's onto the back of him.
Yeah, as they head on to the back straight, the Bentley straight. And this is where we saw Mark Guy make that sensational move in race 1.
He's close.
Will Anthony Mott be as good a partner as Mark Burton was? He's actually going on the inside this time, as Anthony Mott's on the outside now. Now he's on the inside, so defensive indeed and doing just enough. But now we've got Mark Guy on the inside coming into turn 11. Never ending. Oh, Mark Guy gets a bit of a swapper on. Manages to catch it.
Tell you what, Mark, after this race, sit down, get a cup of tea and watch the stream back, because you are putting on some cracking racing, sir. Brilliant from the pair of them. Managed not to bump into Anthony when Anthony missed the apex slightly, and then he's done the outside move. He now wanted to go for the inside and the switchback. Didn't quite work out, but we still... last lap, actually. It will be a last lap finale if he's going to make the move.
They are the closest on track, as Jake Hewlett's 1.4 behind Bibby now. So unless anything drastic happens to Bibby, it's going to be back-to-back wins here at Snetterton. It's going to be back-to-back second places for Hewlett and back-to-back P3s for Rob Baker. And so as you were, gentlemen, Mark Burton's dropped.
Yeah, he's had an issue. Mark Guy, yeah. I think he locked up into turn 2. And he's dropped off, and now Mark Burton making a late charge for P6. And
Ben Sharp also on Carl Swift.
Ben Sharp catching up. What was he? Last lap they were actually the same. So both in the 40. Only other drivers outside of the top guys in the 45s that time round. So showing some good pace. It's just I think the take-home message for some of the guys will just be to work on their consistency, because the pace is really promising for a lot of the drivers.
Is indeed. I mean, qualifying's been tight for the majority, if not all of the races that we've had. As Lewis Bibby takes back-to-back wins from Jake Hewlett, and then Rob Baker's going to bring it home in 3rd position. So congratulations to Bibby for the win, and that, I believe, will wrap up the championship as well for Jake Hewlett. We're still watching Mark Burton and Mark Guy, Mark Squared we call them. They've been glued to each other for 40 minutes of racing. 20 minutes in this one, and the last race was pretty much identical, as Bibby's pulled over and he's probably crying in his crash helmet, I'd imagine. Back-to-back wins for him, so the overrun with happiness. Just wants a quiet moment.
Like Mika Hakkinen in the 1999 Italian Grand Prix, out in the trees having a tear.
Yeah. Shane Piggott, 15th position. Setsikowski. Note for Luke Setsikowski, Tom. Luke's obviously been the organizer of this fantastic championship, so hats off to him. I think Luke's sort of thrown some curveballs at the drivers. They've dealt with it really well. We've sort of seen these 2 sprint races as a feature, this round and the last round at Alton Park. But it's been a really exciting championship. I think it's shown a lot of promise. I think a lot of the guys have got to grips a little bit more with just general sim racing. So yeah, hats off to Luke. Well done. He finishes 17th. But yeah, really good championship.
Oh dear.
And that's his sign-off.
There it is.
Signing off, guys.
Yeah, no, really, really good. As you said, curveballs were thrown, which was great. It was equal for everyone. So, no, brilliant championship. Hopefully there would be maybe even a season 2. Who knows? There's so many cars on the iRacing service that can do some great racing. So, yeah, who knows? Let's have a look at those final results.
So it's Lewis Bibby takes, as we said, back-to-back wins from Jake Hewlett and Rob Baker in 3rd position. Pete Harrod takes 4th. Anthony Mott, a really strong performance from him today in this race. 5th position from him. Mark Guy and Mark Burton, 6th and 7th. Again, really strong from them. Christopher Paul and Carl Swift grab some points, so hats off to him. Ben Sharp rounds out the top 10. Interesting race, Tom. I think Snetterton's often the one where it, sort of is one where I'm not surprised by the sort of distance we saw between the cars on track. Doesn't have a natural flow to it. It's very technical. There's a lot of opportunity to put a wheel wide and off you go, basically. But yeah, it was certainly an interesting one. We saw early contact.
Yes, we did. Let's have a little look at this. Was the incident that I did mention, and I think you'll just see that he just gives just a nice little kiss to Rob's rear left corner. What is the camera? That's the camera angle I wanted. So obviously, Jake got the jump on Rob.
Well, look at Rob there. He nearly lost it. We just rewind a bit. Oh, he did. Yeah. So that's the big contact. Luckily, that didn't put him into the back of Hewlett. Rob managed to get it stopped. I think you saw that, right? You saw.
Yeah. We can have a little rewind.
Rob took so much speed into there, and just already it's look.
Yeah.
well held.
And then if we go up to that's not a good camera angle. That just shows that again. Chopper is shaking so that's not a good camera angle either. I wanted to go back a little bit. Maybe this will explain, because there was carnage.
I'd imagine, yeah, just someone. We saw a couple of spinners on their own, and whether they just came back on track. And
so I know Dave got involved with a little bit of an incident. So let's see if this is going to reveal anything.
All good so far. That's turn 3, Palmer.
Slow this right down. Oh, Dave's lost it on his own.
He's tried to correct it, but I don't actually think it was. Oh, he's lost it. Did he correct it?
It's going to get absolutely.
It's just rolling, isn't it, onto the track, but not much he could have done.
I mean, he's done brilliantly there. I'm just wanting to, because I think someone is going to hit him.
Ah, just looking behind that. Oh, there it is. Oh. Yeah, we saw, didn't we? We saw Bucky on camera just spinning and spinning and spinning.
Car 18 looks to be, and now we're in trouble because we've got a car facing backwards. I think then, we've got Oliver Sig and Luke. So there's contact there. Oh, we've got a car. Oh, no.
Oh, Jesus.
That's just, it's just really unlucky. And this is where now you're just going to have cars.
Did Luke manage to keep going then, by the way? Have we watched it? Because he did a full 360.
There's Luke.
Oh, no, there's your answer.
And then Ben, what happened to Ben Sharp? Oh, he's going to get tagged by Martin Higginson, I think. Yeah. And then a 3-into-1 doesn't go. Ben is going to try and rejoin safely. Yeah. So we've got cars everywhere. Eventful
indeed. Well, that's it, Tom. That rounds out the entire championship. That was round 5. Well, I think one thing we should do is certainly thank you everyone for watching, for subscribing, and for joining us every week over these last 5 weeks. It's certainly been entertaining. It's been a pleasure to watch. Been a pleasure to commentate on. Tom, thank you for joining me on this Wednesday evening for the last 5 weeks. Hope you've had fun.
Oh, it's been brilliant. It's been good fun.
We've seen a good championship evolve. We've got to know the drivers. Who's driver of the championship for you, Tom? That's a big question. You could take a moment.
I'll go for maybe 3 answers here.
Okay. What do you want to do it in an order? Top 3 or just 3 that are all equal?
Well, I was going to say driver of the championship. I think always for a championship, unless there's something absolutely outstanding with inferior equipment. Championship winner Jake Hewlett, consistency was just on another level. That's what won it for him.
Yeah.
Week in, week out, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah. Every track, nothing sort of phased him. Consistent.
Yeah.
Crazy quick where it needed to be. Level-headed where it needed to be. Yeah. It's easy to see, or it's easy to accept that he is championship winner, I guess.
So then I would go for most improved. Would be the man that we're on screen with right now, Ben Sharp. It wasn't really up at the sharp end. I've just realised what I've done there.
Ben is 2700 I rating, so it looks like he's not fully new to it, I guess.
No.
Unless he's just been on got it and rocket ship straight, got in there and won a load of races, which he could have done.
Putting in some really good performances. But then my third driver, who I'll give a shout out to, and all the drivers deserve credit because I've organised leagues before. We've organised leagues where driver turnout is always a problem. And to have 30 guys in the final race is really that's a credit to all the drivers for that.
I think it's 34 in race 1, 32 in the second race.
But I will give a shout out to my man Gavin Ranson, who in the early part of the season showed what you can do with. You might not be the fastest guy out there, but if you keep it on the black stuff and you're consistent at your pace, don't get lured into anyone else's pace, you can get some really good results. And I think that's a take-home message I would give for any aspiring or new sim racers, and I assume it applies to the real world as well. Keep it on the black stuff, do your thing, avoid carnage where you can, and you'll get some good results. So a shout out to him as well.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Well, that's it, Tom. We will end there. Thank you again to everyone that subscribed, everyone that has that's joined it on these Wednesdays. Thank you for watching. Until the next time, if there is a next time, we will bid you farewell. Stay safe.